Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. How about some Brewers, Blue Jays? Oh yeah, the Dodgers dog walked the Yanks. I guess we could talk about that a little bit. Let's talk ball. Oh.
Cal Raleigh.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who I am. Zebby Matthews. Whoa. Good bounce back from him. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. Presented to you by SeatGeek, code Talkin 2025. Happy June 2nd. Every year. How? We were just in spring training. It was before COVID. We were sharing food together. No. Summer's here, people. Summer in the city. I'm Jake Storielli. That is Trevor Plouffe. Rob is producing. Molly's here, chilling. And you're all here. And we thank you, and I hope you had a good baseball weekend. Hope you enjoyed, I was going to say hope you enjoyed some Yanks-Dodgers as a little side piece to whatever else you were enjoying. But I don't know if you had to. But I know, speaking of side pieces, Trev, how was the Great Northwest? Twins-Mariners.
It was great, Poppy. Thanks for that big word salad right there.
Yeah,
love that from you this early in the morning. Pacific Northwest, beautiful.
Yeah.
The weather was great. A great series. We'll get into it. What were you talking about before?
Okay.
The Dodgers. What did they do to the Yankees?
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear you talk about that. A lot of good ball, though. Yeah. Where are we starting today?
It is Monday, June 2nd, and Mondays we do American League, man. So, yeah, I like it. Let's cut through it. We dove deep last time. Let's get into it with the American League. And I made an exception because I did bring Yankees-Dodgers over to the American League because it's the World Series rematch, and the Yanks are going to get their revenge. We still have Aaron Judge, fellas. Homer. They still have Ohtani. Homer. Does it get any better for baseball? Rob Manfred, put some juice in them balls. Yankees get ahead and a nice lead. Max Fried hasn't lost a game as a Yankee. Here come the Dodgers. It's Shohei, it's Freddie, it's Teoscar. They take game one and come back and win. They take game two, 18-2. How much do you want to hear about that? Sorry, young Will Warren. Dodgers boat race him. The Yankees salvage a set. That's Ryan Yarborough. Get out of here, Yamabozo. Dodgers take 2 out of 3. We'll talk about it. Rays in Houston. This is a fun one, Trev. Kind of your Rays and my Stros. They split 4. It was either Rays big or Houston close, which I don't know you'd necessarily expect. Junior Caminero is kind of happening before our eyes. 9 OPS in the last month or so. Rays put up a 13-burger and a 16. The game the Stros win is 2-1 Framber alert. And Hunter Brown. 1-0 Astros win. They split 4. The A's and the Jays, the Toronto Blue Jays sweep a 4-gamer, and the offense is clicking. Ernie Clement, is he a modern-day Trevor Plouffe? Addison Barger, you might hear some more about him. Alejandro Kirk, the modern-day Storielli. The Blue Jays put together a big weekend of ball, and check out where they are in the standings. The Blue Jays are in the mix. George Springer, 2-homer day to kind of get out of his Funkarino. Speaking of Funkarino, the Mariners take 2 out of 3 from the Minnesota Twins. The Twins win game 1 after Zebby Matthews gets knocked around in the first inning because Cal Raleigh's knocking around anyone who tries him. A homer in every game this series. But the Twins, resilient. They win game 1, 12-6 in 10 innings. They were down to 2 outs in the 9th. They get Senor Smoke, the first team to get him this year. Mariners come back. They get the next 2 games. J.P. Crawford is showing off for Trev. Bat flips, breaking scoreboards. And then Luis Castillo. Fun stat on him coming up. That's how you keep the people staying tuned. The Tigers and Royals played every series they've ever played, as the Tigers won game 1 7-5. Your guy Dylan Dingler, Spencer Torkelson, and Riley Green featured on the new Chris Rose show this week. Go check that out, Dugout Discussions. And then it's Royals 1-0 and Tigers 1-0. They outlast Scooble, and then Detroit outlasts Bubich. Your guy Cater, man, he just shoves. You were on it first. Vinny Pasquantino with a clutch hit in the one Royals win, but the Tigers take the series. Your best team in the month of May? The St. Louis Cardinals. But May ended on Sunday when they dropped the series to the Rangers, and the Rangers saw some hitting. Marcus Semien came alive, 4-hit day at the office. Josh Young in that thick neck, 3 hits. Semien with another, got on base 4 times in that final game. They couldn't get past ace-adjacent Sonny Gray in Game 2, but they win a series. Can they get involved this year? I don't know. Guardians take 2 out of 3 from the Angels, and unfortunately, that's kind of obvious. After Jose Soriano and Jose Soriano. Scott Kingery involved in the action. We love it. Cleveland runs it the rest of the way. Jose Ramirez owns the Angels, and he owns everyone. Knocked out Tim Anderson on the field. White Sox, Orioles, did you watch? No. Orioles sweep, though. Is it the start? We'll deep dive into that and a lot more on today's Talkin' Baseball. That's what happened in the American League.
Jose Ramirez owns the world, also knocked out Tim Anderson. That's what I got from that entire speech right there.
Crazy, man. Tim Anderson's last home run came before the knockout punch.
That is true.
Jay Cuda on that one. Tough.
We will deep dive into Baltimore White Sox, but I got the standings if you want them, Pop.
Every up.
The American League standings. You know what? I'm going to switch it up because I was just out there in Seattle. We'll start out west where Seattle has a half-game lead over the Houston Astros. Seattle 32-26. Houston 32-27. Got some bad news on Yordan. The Rangers 29-31. So they're trying to get back to 500. The Angels 26-32. And the Athletics, my gosh, have you seen what they've been doing lately? It ain't good, Pop. I'm about to see it firsthand for 4 here. 23-37 for them. It's bad for the A's right now. We'll go to the Central where the Tigers continue to lead all of baseball at a 39-21 clip. Cleveland 6 games behind them, 32-26. My Twins 31-27. Kansas City 31-29, and the White Sox 18-41. And then yes, we'll go out east where Jake's Yanks are 36-22. 5.5 games up on who? The Blue Jays. Who are only a half game back in the wild card right now. They're 31-28. The Tampa Bay Rays been playing much better ball as of late, 30-29. The Red Sox just can't get out of their own way, 29-32, 8.5 games back, not in the wild card picture right now. And then Baltimore, 22-36, 14 games back of the Yankees. And those are your American League standings.
Trevor, thank you for the standings. We can see clearly now with that. And our Shady Rays. Summer's here. I told you, people, it's June. And our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized sunglasses shades that won't break the bank. It's a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Shady Rays is awesome. They've been with us for a while now. They're a huge part of our warehouse games. We've got our ball and play going on right now. Coach Trev on the Forgotten Rotten doing it up this weekend. Whatever you're looking for. They gave us sunglasses for every team. They've got all sorts of sunglasses, and you're going to wear them. So go to Shady Rays and use our code TALKIN because you get 35% off your next pair of polarized sunglasses. ShadyRays.com. Code TALKIN, 35% off. Trev, let's not dilly-dally about it. Yankees-Dodgers, World Series rematch.
Take me through it, Pop. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
The 2 best cities in the world. I don't think you can argue that.
Okay.
And maybe the 2 best teams in baseball, Tigers, Phillies. We'll circle back on all of that. And, man, Yankees come in. Jimmy talked about it on Talkin' Yanks last night. And when Judge pops that first homer, it's like, you know what? Yeah, screw these guys. Like, they walk the walk and they talk the talk. Every podcast they could pop on for the offseason, they talked about how much of a joke the Yankees defense was. You'd be surprised. This Yankees roster, and it's how quick baseball moves. It's a lot of new guys. It was Judge, it's Wells, it's Volpe. Otherwise, a lot of new parts for the Yankees, including Max Fried. The Dodgers put together a Dodger inning where the Yankees, I think they had something on Gonsolin because they hit 4 homers off of him early. He corrects. He stays in the game. He outlasts it. The Dodgers come back, and then Will Warren, man. I don't know. I don't know if people feel for a kid in that moment. I kind of do because this was a big start for him, and he got shooketh by the Dodgers. Yanks end up salvaging it, but I don't know. With the Dodgers still missing a lot of pieces, I think they showed here why they're who they are.
They can absolutely dominate any team in the big leagues. I mean, that's what the Dodgers can do. You're right. They've been missing a lot of people, and it's not always going to work out that way. I think the Yankees salvaging that last game, I think is kind of speaks volumes. If they went in there and got swept and there was another big lead by the Dodgers, the conversation would be completely different. I think if you're a Yankees fan, you just say, damn, okay, we got that second game doesn't even really count. You know, just they were an offensive power and you just kind of wash it. So you take that last game and you run with it. I want to ask you this. You know, you're talking about all those guys after the World Series talking shit. Is that more embarrassing, or is it the fact that Shohei Ohtani was sleeping on the bench in game 2? Like, I don't think people like that was making its rounds around the internet, but like that's a really telling video.
Hey man,
like, he literally fell asleep in the dugout.
There's a lot of, Yankees Knicks overlap in the city as the Knicks played their final game this weekend. I mean, look at that sleepy Shohei. I mean, Yankee fans are doing the same thing. Nobody wants to watch that. Nobody wants to watch Pablo Reyes pitch. It's the Dodgers are number 1 in average, number 1 in on base, number 1 in OPS, number 1 in runs, number 1 in home runs, and it still hasn't gone. Mookie hasn't played this weekend. Shohei is being Shohei, and yes, he's there. Freddie is actually playing above his skis. You and me had a panic moment early on this season. We're like, wait, will Freddie Freeman get old one day? No, he has no need to do that. And the way his hips are moving, doing the Dodgers thing, like Freddie feels good.
So the last thing I'll say about this series, we got to move on. We can't spend this much time. I don't love the Dodgers celebration because my youth team does it all the time. And I'm like, you guys aren't good enough to do that.
Oh, I think I strangely disagree with you, Coach.
It's so bad.
Let the kids play.
We're getting beat like 10-2, and this guy gets on first base and does the hip of the Shohei thing. I'm like, dude, we got to learn when and where to do it. 2
of the Dodgers' best players over the last week have been Max Muncy and Andy Pages. So it just... That lineup, man.
Pies has been good all year for them. Muncy is starting to obviously come on as of late.
Like, we always laugh at Will Smith's stats, and Teoscar doesn't get mentioned as much because of the 3 MVPs. Like, that lineup is the best in baseball, and it hasn't been full tilt yet, and I still think that's coming. And, yeah, they're going to wait for their pitching to get healthy. Like, people are talking about their trade deadline. I don't can't really do anything. Like, you're there. The pieces available, I don't think are better than the pieces you have.
Yeah, they're going to look for pitching. They'll do that for sure.
Yeah.
Whether it's, bullpen help, whether if they think they need somebody to give them some length as a starter, we'll see how that goes. But yes, I mean, the roster is very talented, especially when they're all healthy.
Yankees good at bats in that last game. Nice. Punch him on the way out, Jake. Rays, Astros, Trev, 4-gamer, and when it's split, it's a little tricky there. I think we've been doing a little bit of, where are the Astros in the standings? They're a half game back of Seattle. For me, your Rays, which I said I'm going to open my heart to, there's a lot of stats in here. When they won game 1, they won 8 out of 9. When they won game 3, it was 9 out of 11. Yeah.
Nice.
And the biggest thing is they're scoring runs. I'm a sucker for when the offense is clicking because I think we find pitching and like every team has 2 relievers tapped in at any time that you're like, who's this guy? And they're nasty now. But the Rays offense and Caminero being a key cog in it, like that's changed for me.
Yeah, look, they've looked a lot better, and we talked about this, I believe, last episode. They've had healthy pitching, and it showed. I mean, for the most part, it showed again this series. You're right. Caminero coming on has been great for them. Bilal has been awesome for them. Like when they score runs, they need Yandy Diaz to go. You know, he had a few good games this series. So 2 huge offensive outbursts we saw from them. And then I think on the Houston side, it's about having stoppers. And they're going to have to figure some stuff out. They have bad news on Jordan. Yeah. His hand is still not there yet. And I can't tell if this is like good news for the Astros and where they're at, or bad news for them. Like they just haven't had Jordan. Even when he was playing, he wasn't really producing. Now he's still hurt. They're still only a half game back, I believe. I'm not really sure exactly how Houston fans are taking that. I think you have to be stoked that you're where you're at without Jordan, but you need him, and hopefully he's going to come back soon. The one thing I took from this game, which I thought was really nuts, Framber complete game in game 2. Stops after they lose the first one 13-3. Yainer Diaz, he goes 2 for 4. He has the walk-off homer, little oppo. He swung at the first pitch in every at-bat. So he had 4 at-bats, and he saw 4 pitches. And he hits the walk-off homer. Like, you think maybe you ambush 3 times, and the 4th time, like, are you going to see a pitch? No. He just hits a homer with it. That's crazy. Like I need Sarah Langs to look up how many times guys have gone their entire game swinging at the first pitch each at bat. I bet it's a lot more than you think.
Right.
But in my mind, I'm like, that just doesn't ever happen.
Feels like a bad approach. Feels like
I don't know.
It feels like
2 for 4 with a walk-off homer.
Right. Feels like you could get yelled at without that stat line. Yeah, that was a big one for them. A little more Framber coming later. And Trev, I don't. This is probably going to send us in a bad spot. This is one of the first times I was looking around the league. A lot of starting pitchers let it eat. Zach Littell threw a $117. What is that? That's just, hey, it's kind of summer. Let it eat out there. What is that?
Well, I mean, they had such a huge lead. I'm curious as well if they were just trying to save the pen and he just wanted to keep going because, I mean, yeah, 9 innings pitch. I mean, they won the game 16-3. Typically, you'd have some kind of low leverage reliever.
Have anyone else go out there?
You know, the starting pitcher, but
I mean, that tells me that's some Rays stuff. That's Zach Littell saying, like, I want this. I want this. And the Rays, you know, when we played there, it was high T and it was do your thing.
I mean, then Taj Bradley saves their bullpen the next game. So they are the freshest bullpen in the league.
We're just
right now.
saving the bullpen every game. I don't know. I mean, hey, some of the stats there are really, like, I focused on their hitting, but like you said, in a way it comes back to the pitching. Boz, Pepio, Littell, and Bradley, a 1.91 ERA, 23 strikeouts in the 4-game set, and 28 in a third innings. That's like easy way to manage cash.
I mean, but think about this though. I mean, if you're the Rays, you played such a good series. You outscored Houston 30-9. Yeah. You only get the split. You have one complete game. Another guy goes 7 innings, no earned runs. But you faced, and this is like the crux of it, you faced Framber and Hunter Brown.
Ooh. I want you saying crux more. That's a good word for you.
That's like not an SAT word.
No, it's not, but it's just nice when you say it.
Okay. I think that's what it comes down to. Rays bats are hot, but Framber and Hunter Brown are better.
Can we talk Toronto Blue Jays?
Yeah.
Trev, you know, it feels dumb because Blue Jay fans are one of the biggest dicks to Yankee fans on the internet. I've gotten past that, besides what I just said to the people. That I think when I talk about the Blue Jays, there's part of me that gets excited, and I really wanted them to re-sign Vlad, and I like that they got Santander. I kind of love their pitching staff in a way. Like, they got some dogs on there, guys that have been through battles that I kind of want it to click. Should I read too much into a 4-game sweep against an Athletics team that is just getting worked right now? Like, they're down to Baltimore. They're the same in the wild card standings as the Baltimore Orioles. So the Athletics thing has ended. It's over. They're dead. If someone needs to hear that, except Jacob Wilson, he's a stud. But Toronto, I think it's just East Coast lame kicking in. I want this to work, and their offense has turned it on.
They have. I mean, that's been huge for them. They went 8-4 to end the month. They've been just like teetering around 500, and it's kind of like what they've been playing. But I believe it was last week Schneider was talking about them. We're playing our best ball right now. We're getting the pitching, we're playing defense, and then we got some guys stepping up offensively. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of them later in the show. The A's, Jake, in this series, I mean, it's going bad for them.
It's going
six
bad.
Straight and 17 of 18.
It's going bad.
The A's didn't have a tie or lead later than the third inning in the first 3 games. Like, that's not what you want. Then, hey, they were trying to salvage the series. They lead 4-2 in the bottom of the 8th of the last game before our guy Addison Barger hits a 3-run shot. I mean, it's I think you have to credit the Blue Jays. Yeah, they went up and raked, but this A's team is playing poor all around the ball, pitching, hitting, everything.
Vladdy, his numbers are starting to get up there. 391 on base for Vladdy. Bo is starting to hit. Kirk, Barger. You know who leads these Toronto Blue Jays in WAR?
Who leads the Toronto Blue Jays in WAR? Is it Ernie Clement?
Ernie Clement, baby. He's a ball player.
We're going to get into more. We got more on the Blue Jays. I keep wanting to go into it, but I can't yet, Pop. I got to save it for later.
Hey, Rod, can you show Denzel Clark's home run robbery? Because it is one of the it's one of the sicker ones of the year. That when this was on the internet, I was like, wait, who is this cat? Just casually climbing the wall. I'll take that.
He also hit an absolute tank for his first homer.
Welcome to the league, bro. Trev, I'll give the mic to you because what
the only thing we didn't mention was Varsho comes out of the game for the Blue Jays, which is tough. Seems like a hammy thing.
Andres Jimenez coming back though, so
Andres Jimenez coming back. They're gonna have to make some decisions about where guys are gonna play. I think we might be kicking Addison Barger out to right field.
Fly balls are easy, kid. Go squeeze it. What happened in Seattle this weekend, Trev?
Honestly, one of the better series
in
all of baseball, all throughout the season. The Twins, they came back with a huge 9th inning in Game 1 against Andres Munoz. There were just some really cool baseball. Willie Castro hits a homer off him. Larnach ties it up. Carlos Correa hits a 2-run bomb to get the lead in the 10th inning. They kind of open it up, and that was the second game in a row. The Nationals had done that to the Mariners in the previous game where they'd scored 7 runs in the 10th inning. Then the Twins came and scored 6 runs in the 10th inning. Good stuff all the way around. The Mariners ended up winning the next 2 games, walking both of them off. Cole Young, he comes up, makes his debut, has a good at bat against Cole Sands, ends up getting the walk-off fielder's choice, and then Rosarena got it there. It was the Cal Raleigh show.
Yeah,
he is. The Twins were trying to bury him inside, but any mistake that they made, and even pitches that weren't mistakes, he went up and got one against Ober, I believe, right? And then he got it against Paddock, a curveball down. He's just. I think that is the story for the Mariners right now. I mean, their bullpen kind of getting touched up is interesting. They had been pretty dang good. Obviously, Andres Munoz gives up his first earned runs of the year, and he just looked like he didn't have a feel for his slider, and he was kind of missing with that. Not really being dominant as he usually is with it. But yeah, I think it comes down to it was a fun series, but it's Cal Raleigh, man. It's impressive. I think he's leading the league in homers now.
Yes.
22 homers before June 1st.
I think it's the most a catcher's ever had.
Ever, yeah.
By June 1. So that's what's going on with that guy. And another guy, I feel like we used to shout him out more, Luis Castillo. He's kind of blended in with just all of the Mariners' good pitching. Mariners' career ERA leaders.
Yep.
Number 1, Luis Castillo, and then it's Randy Johnson and Felix Hernandez. So Luis Castillo, we've always talked. No one's ever been like, I don't know about that guy. He's always been pretty nails. just seeing him on top of that leaderboard was like damn. He's kind of gone underappreciated as we've gotten distracted by Kirby and Wu and Gilbert. He's still the dude.
He's still just a ton of arm side run, and then he throws the slider going the opposite way. And, if he's on throwing strikes with both those pitches, I mean, it just makes for such a difficult at bat. But it was fun. It was a really, really good series. The Twins are, even though they've lost 2 series in a row, I mean, they've lost some extra inning games. Like they're in it. They look good. They have to figure out Royce Lewis and what they're going to do with him, because he's just in a really tough spot. I don't know if AAA is in his future, but it's getting to a point now where they're going to have to do something. They already moved them down all the way down to the 9 hole. If he doesn't turn it around quickly, I don't know. There could be an option coming. I haven't heard anything, but it's gotten to that point.
Trev, I wanted to see if, I knew Luis Castillo was borderline for your playing career, so I did Trevor Plouffe first, Luis Castillo. As you just shook your head, you did not face him. An AI overview article came up and it's Trevor Plouffe talking about Castillo maybe getting traded, and it's just a crazy world we live in. Let's not simulation now. Let's simulation later. Maybe the last meaty one, Tigers Royals. I don't know how much of your Eye of Sauron you had turned to this one. Because I was laughing when I look and I see the final 2 games are 1-0, 1-0. Which, again, a mix of AL Central Baseball and how good Michael Wacha has been as a Kansas City Royal and how good Tarek Skubal is every time he touches the mound. Meanwhile, Bubic is doing historic stuff, too. So
yes.
Both these teams throw the ball incredibly. Royals have been scuffling for a little bit now. Not down and out scuffling, but just can't get the momentum going, and maybe Jack Caggs will be that guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the offense for them. This is more about the Tigers for me, then we'll get to our guy Jack. In the first game, they slugged their way to victory, a bunch of homers there. And after the game, they're just talking about, Spencer Torkelson was saying, we are finding different ways to win. We can be pitching dominant where our starting pitching goes out and does it, or we can throw a bullpen game with our guy Cater, opening it up, and we can dominate with our bullpen. And this game showed they can also, slug their way to victory. So that's a scary thing for, the American League when the Tigers are starting to do that. And, we keep waiting for, what do you call it? The shoe to drop? The ball to drop on this Tigers offense. Some of these guys,
you keep calling for that.
I keep saying it because in my mind, that's logical, and it just hasn't happened. So I'm stoked for the Tigers.
I thought you told me Jesus was a carpenter.
Jesus was a carpenter. Might have been just an apprentice. Did he ever make it to a full carpenter? Right. We're not sure.
Didn't seem like he put in that work.
Because Joseph was a carpenter.
Right.
Anyways.
Okay.
So they slugged their way to victory. Game 1, great. Game 2 was Moose Day. He was there to announce his official retirement. I actually texted him and said, hey, man, congrats on the Royals Hall of Fame. Obviously well-deserved. You're a stud. He's like, I wish I just retired as a Royal.
Oh.
So I got that back from him. But he gave a speech, did all the things. And then what I thought was cool about that was it was Vinny that got the knock. And the night before, he was getting interviewed, and he said, this is on me. My job is to produce runs, and I'm not getting the job done. Well, what does he do? The next day, he produces the run to win the baseball game. That's sports, baby.
Hey,
you got to love that for Vinny P.
And you talk, manager decisions. They slid Vinny down to 7th because they were facing Skubal. So they were like, hey, that's tough for literally every baseball player. So he gets the only RBI in the game. That's one of those, I don't know. Maybe you hit a right button for a day. Chris Bubic, man, we've done this a little bit. And he was one of the guys coming into the year that everyone's like, yeah, it's going to happen. It's about to happen. Guys get off to hot starts. What he is doing, Bubic's 1.43 ERA is the 3rd best through 12 starts in the American League in the wild card era. 2000 Pedro, who's argued as the best pitching season ever, and 2018 Justin Verlander. So yeah, I knew Bubic was throwing. I didn't think Bubic was doing this.
Where was Justin Verlander pitching in 2018? Astros?
That's H-Town, Funky Town, yeah. City where the top drops, city where purple drink.
So, I mean, look, go Tigers. They
Tigers.
continue to win series, best record in baseball, all that stuff. The Royals, they end up bringing up Jack Caglione, who is their, massive slugger that they were talking about. We're not going to bring him up when the offense is struggling. Didn't they just say that last week?
Yeah.
And they went and scored 6 runs in this series, and now, hey, we're going to bring him up. Why do you say stuff like that?
Call him up if he's ready to play baseball for your team.
Yeah. Why do you put that? I don't know.
That's where I hate to be.
It's funny to me. They needed to do this. I'm excited to see if it changes their fortunes. They've been pitching.
They
just need to swing the bats a little bit more, and this guy can obviously do that. We'll see how he does at the big league level. It's tough.
Trev, I think wrapping up the AL for me, because the Guards Halos is kind of the obvious. I'm not off Rangers Island. Because they have their stats. If they score runs, they win. They're 21-3 if they score 4 or more runs. So if that offense ever happens, they just haven't earned it yet. I'm glad that this series happened for them, and it's against a Cardinals team that did have the best record in the month. But I need to see more of it before I start believing.
They're this year's Mariners, I guess, is the way to put it, right?
Ooh.
That's
kind of.
I don't know if they want to hear that, but you're right. I mean, that's very telling. 21-3 when scoring 4 or more. Big day for Simeon. The offense opens up in game 1. That was awesome. He ends a 4-hit day with a big fly. And then Sonny Gray comes and shoves. That was really fun to watch. He was absolutely dialed in game 2. So he plays the role as the stopper for the Cardinals. And then they do it again, man. I mean, the pitching for the Rangers has been so freaking good. DeGrom comes and shoves here. They end up opening it up late. We talked about the great May for St. Louis, but I guess we've been waiting for the Rangers offense to open up, and it can be a series like this that gets it done, and then we could see this team go on a run. But I'm skeptical because it's taken this long.
Yeah, I'm not gonna believe after 3 games, but there's still a part of me that wants to. And Marcus Semien, first time his batting average has been in the 2s since opening day. So they need some of the Jimmies and the Joes to do it. And by the way, no one's really saying it. DeGrom's here this year.
Everyone's saying it.
Everyone?
They're still kind of. They're not babying him, but he's not going.
They're all babies, Trev.
What's that?
They're all babies. All the pitchers.
That's true.
Yeah, come on.
Maybe not Jacob deGrom.
Yeah,
I would never say it about Tarek Skubal.
I like that he changed his glove because he had a no strikeout game, and that fixed it. That's baseball.
I like that too.
Let's do some National League. And man, a couple teams that have been in the blender all year. The Boston Red Sox, kid, and the Atlanta Braves. The Sox take 2 out of 3 to make the 4th place Atlanta Braves. Giolito and Crochet both give strong performances. So did Abraham Toro, your Sox first baseman. He's been playing well for them. And Trevor Story has a big series, and you were on that first, Coach. Let him swing. So he hit home runs and doubles instead of bunting. Spencer Schwellenbach helped the Braves win that second game. What are they doing down there? Cubs take 2 out of 3 from the Reds, and unfortunately that's kind of obvious because if you know what Andrew Abbott's doing, that's the game the Reds won. He has had a month. But after that, Ben Brown with the bulk outing. 6 innings, 1 hit. And then, the guys that have been doing it all year for the Chicago Cubs continue to do it. They take 2 out of 3. The Nationals getting hot. It's getting hot in the nation's capital. They take 2 out of 3 from the Snakes, and is that obvious at this point? Sad ending. Corbin Burnes goes off the mound, elbow. Yikes. Maybe that's why we'll focus on Nats. Robert Hassel, couple hits. Key Bear. God, I didn't really let the Snakes hit me till right then. That was tough. Mets sweep the Rockies. Mets are good, and we've talked about that, and the Rockies historically bad. 9-50. Jeff Passan just tweeting generic stuff and getting lots of likes on the internet because people are laughing at the Rockies. Bad, man. It's embarrassing. Soto hit a homer. Great, dude. Padres, they take 2 out of 3 from the Pirates, and that's obvious. Padres take that first game full pension Piv with a nice start. Jackson Merrill's back and playing fantastic baseball, which is just good for America, if we're being honest about it. They faltered that middle game with Bailey on the mound, and Jake jumped off a bridge. Giants, they take 2 out of 3 from the Marlins. Did you watch? Be honest. There was one nice catch in this series. We might mention that on the way out. Let me see your bird song. Your bird song. Hayden does it again. Kyle Harrison's up with the big club pitching. They take 2 out of 3. And your best Western Road Warriors. I think I'll have myself a beer. The Milwaukee Brewers sweep. And the Philadelphia Phillies? 7-game win streak for the Crew. That's their longest since August of 2023. 4 games above 500 for the first time this season. First sweep against Philly since 2015. Christian Yelich with a couple big swings for the fellas. Pat Murphy's Brew Crew is back, and so is Best Western. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at bestwestern.com. That is what happened in the National League.
And boy, Pop, can't wait to talk Brew Crew with you. I got the standings in the National League. And again, you know what? I'll start out west. Yeah. The Dodgers, 36-23, 2 games up on the San Diego Padres, 3 games up on the San Francisco Giants. Padres, 33-24, Giants, 33-26. Arizona is going to be a interesting conversation. They're 28-31. And man, as the injuries pile up in some of the underperformances, they could be a deadline dealer. Colorado Rockies 9-50. My goodness. In the Central, 4-game lead for the Cubs. They're 37-22. The Cardinals are the team that's 4 games behind them, 33-26. Milwaukee 32-28 after that sweep, and the Reds 29-31. Pirates 22-38. And then in the NL East, the Mets still atop the division, 37-22, 1 game above the Phillies. I shouldn't have said still on top of the division. They are now on top of the division. 1 game above the Phillies, who are 36-23. The Nationals playing decent ball. Jake approaching 500, 28-31. They're above the Braves, who are 27-31, who just cannot seem to get it going. It's like they got bald tires, Jake. They need new tires. I don't know if that makes any sense. The Marlins, 23-34. Those are the standings in the National League.
Thank you, Trev. I do think I wanna go to those Milwaukee Brewers.
Let's do it.
Because we've been on them. We have heartstrings to the Brewers going back to Jimmy pulling his hamstring at the sausage race. Again, one of the franchises that is kind of in it everywhere in their own way. We've always just wanted a little more. And we were wondering, was this the year the bottom fell out? Last year they were pissy and great and screw Craig Counsell. He went to the bad guys. And then we're like, dude, Pat Murphy's treating this like a high school JV team. Guys are getting called out. Maybe the light bulb's going on. W7 in that win column. The Cardinals, did they have their hot streak? What kind of team are they? The Brewers are in it right now. It's a better brand of baseball. And, man, you see the Phillies on the schedule, and you don't think sweep. You're thinking, I'd love to win a series. They're officially hot. The offense, I think, is a sneaky, top 8 offense. And they always pitch. I
think game 1 was just such a Brewers game for them, where if they want a recipe, if this was, hey, let's do this every single game. It's Yelly has 2 homers, we steal 5 bases, and we have an opener, and the bullpen comes in and shoves. That's what the Brewers want to do. I mean, Yelly's been going off. We talked about him. I think it was last episode. Just put the ball in the air. Every time he puts the ball in the air, it's a homer. He must have got the message because he did that. And then game 2, holy shnikes, man. just an explosion. And I know Philadelphia fans were not happy on Saturday. Just going off, Reese with the 2 homers, is really feeling it. He ends up getting cheered, but then booed because he's doing too well against his team, and you got to love that for him. And then game 3, comeback game for our Brew Crew there. JT Realmuto's, he's been really struggling. He gets an RBI in the first, basically up the middle. I don't know if you saw the Schwarber RBI. It was basically a check swing push bunt, and I thought that was really funny because at the end of it, I don't know if we have the video of that, he does get past the base and gives a little bit like a little high step, and it's just good old-fashioned fun.
He's the best. I think he's gone on base like all games except 2 this year, which is just insanity.
Watch this little high step at the end. So, a little nice infield knock. Yeah. Just a little like, yeah, I'm fast.
And by the way, can we say something? Shut up, Jake. Young Kyle Schwarber gets called up on the Cubbies, and he's thick. He's thick. If we were projecting where Kyle Schwarber would be today, Schwarb's kind of looks great. He's looking slim fit there.
Yeah, he hasn't changed much. He's just kind of like been that like nice,
right? Like he was
V-shaped linebacker body.
Could have been on a trajectory for something else. He's in a good spot.
And then it kind of falls apart for Philly in the last game. Sorry, Weston Wilson, he misplays a Durbin ball. Then there's an error by my guy Trey Turner at shortstop.
Yeah.
The Brewers tie the game, and then Bowers has the pinch hit double. They get an insurance run from Terang, and they end up sweeping the series. And I guess maybe that's also a very Brewers game, taking advantage of mistakes. But, dude, this is definitely a welcome sign for Brewers fans who, like, yeah, they had been kind of middling, just kind of trying to figure out, if they were going to participate in the season, if it was going to go the other way, and then they run out a W7 and they're right back in the thick of things, man. This is great for them.
Yeah, and they were 0-4 start out of them, and they've had some low points this season that if they can get away from that 500 line and be like, we're not staying down there, get in the mix, Milwaukee. They're using their bullpen a lot. Uribe and Koenig tied for most games played this year, so that's something to watch going forward.
1.5 games out of a wild card spot, just like that.
Hey now. Red Sox Braves, man. I don't know what to do with this one too much. I do want to give Garrett Crochet more flowers. I can't believe how much he is living up to the billing essentially every start. But both as I'm about to get excited for the Red Sox, like, okay, they won a series and blah blah. This series ended a 5-game losing streak. So I can't get myself into any of the quote unquote teams we thought were good and have been struggling. The Sox, the Braves, the Diamondbacks. Like I'm not giving them the leash anymore. It's been 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams have found their footing, lost their footing, found their footing, lost their footing. It's been an interesting year for both of them. I don't exactly know what you do if you're the Red Sox, although they kind of got what they needed. I mean, Lucas gives them a good enough start so that they win the first game. And then Crochet to Chapman basically in the last game is about as good as it gets for them. And then Walker just didn't have his, A stuff, and he just was kind of all over the place in that middle game. But, yeah, I don't know. This is – every time I think the Braves are about to go, I mean, they get some bad news with their pitching, or even Ronnie's came back and he's been a stud, and it just hasn't happened for them because Austin Riley had been struggling, and just it feels like they're spinning in place, dude. Both these teams actually,
and it's felt this way for a little bit. Like I know last year, they go to the dance after doing that weird Mets doubleheader that keeps the snakes out, but the Braves were never. The Braves weren't the Braves last year, and we pointed to injuries, and now we're kind of moving past that, and the Braves still aren't who we thought the Braves were. I can't get hype on either of these teams until I see them go on their Brewers 7-game winner, and then I will.
4 for 26 with runners in scoring position for the Braves. I mean, that's not good enough to get the job done.
That ain't it. The Nats are it. And I finished last episode giving my award to the Nats because I talked about all the young kids, and it's kind of happening. They've had a couple good weeks here. Unfortunately, probably more of the story is the Diamondbacks and how I said I'm not letting these teams in. But I mean, Corbin Burnes, if that's a real injury and where they are in the NL West, Trev, you were on this kind of earlier than I wanted to be, but they're a very interesting if they're out of it team for the rest of the
just
league.
Because of the contract situations and, the way the National League is set up. I was talking to a couple of guys this, just talking ball this weekend, and I mentioned that, it's going to take 90 wins in the National League, I think, to get into the playoffs. And, if you're the Diamondbacks now dealing with this, and I don't know if they know for sure what's going on with Corbin Burnes, and I know he's getting an MRI, and hopefully it's not TJ, it's going to be an injury. He's going to be out for some time. They have pieces, man. They have a couple pitchers there that are in their walk year. I think Naylor's in his walk year. Like there are pieces to be had, and it hasn't, their bullpen obviously has been their main issue there, Jake. But I think without, totally ripping them apart right now, I think that you could trade these guys. If it's Gallen, if it's Kelly, if it's, maybe some of their bullpen pieces, if you want to do the Josh Naylor, you could reset very quickly because you do have a strong core there that's going to be back next year. I think the biggest thing is if you're thinking about next year already for the Snakes, which is kind of crazy. It's June 1st. They're only 3 games under 500, but we just talked about some injuries. If Corbin Burnes has to have TJ, then we're talking about 2026, and now your pitching staff is looking extremely thin. So where do you go in the offseason? I don't know, man.
4th in runs scored, 4th in homers. It's getting weird. It's been weird in the desert. We've said this since like the opening weekend. And when I say weird, I mean pitching, because it's a bottom 5 rotation, bottom 5 staff, and they're not supposed to be that team.
Shout out Nationals, though, man. They started to hit the ball. James Wood's been doing it all year. Robert Hassel had a really nice weekend. And then, Josh Bell coming around is huge for them. Nate Lowe coming around is huge for them. They put up a bunch of runs on this Arizona team, and they've just, they look like they're ready, even though it's not going to happen this year.
The 3rd place Nationals. I'll tell you, if Eugenio Suarez ends up on the trade market,
he's one, yeah.
Trev,
ooh, yeah.
We're in an interesting spot here because I skipped Reds Cubs, and there's a little juice there. Again, I guess part of this is now expected for me. Like the Reds, I've released myself from the Reds torture chamber of doing this every time, and the Cubs have proven who they are. That I'm not blown away by any of this. Like I like to PCA catch, but otherwise, this series doesn't do a ton for me.
I think you're talking about the starter for game 1 for the Reds later, if I'm not mistaken.
I am. Teaser.
Okay, so that's really good. I mean, I watched that start, and that was awesome. And then, look, it's weird. I actually really like the Reds, and I think they have so much potential. But, yes, they just have not been able to, I guess, really get anything going offensively. And that's kind of was the name of this series right there. They score 6 runs, get a great start, win game 1, get shut out game 2. Even though they pitch and Lodolo gives them a scoreless start, they just can't score runs. And then same thing, they get outscored 7-3 on Sunday. And it's, I guess, this is what you'd expect. If you're to show me a Reds Cubs series right now, Cubs take 2 or 3, maybe one of the Reds pitchers shoves and gets a victory. It is a very.
We could have AI'd this series before the weekend.
It was an AI series.
And this is what it would have been.
I like that.
And then for me, Trev, I don't even know. Rockies just get me mad. Like I'm happy for the Mets, but this is literally what every team is doing to the Rockies. And then, something about the Pirates, Marlins, and Rockies are starting to get really tough for me to honestly yuck about.
Shout out Soto got going a little bit for the Mets. They have the 3 guys homer in the same game for the first time, so that's good for them. But yeah, you're right now you're supposed to sweep the Rockies, man. 9 total wins. There was that graphic going around that in May they had 3 wins, and Scotty Scheffler had 3 wins as well.
Yeah.
Like that's a golfer, people.
That's a go. He gets 1 tournament a weekend. It's not good. It's not good.
That is not good. I think the Padres win like a sloppier series for them, but you'll take 2 or 3, obviously, and they're keeping track with the Dodgers. Good for them. And then who's the last team? Giants. Doing it against the Marlins. We got to show the Dane Myers catch at least in this series.
We can get you some Dane Myers catch.
Get the Dane Myers.
Where were you guys Saturday for the Robbie Ray Edwin Cabrera? That's a nice catch.
Dude, that's an
that
incredible
hurts.
catch. And he got up like nothing happened. He smacked his head on his his head went into his shoulder as he banged into the wall.
Yeah, I kind of don't like that catch. I kind of don't want to watch that anymore.
I like that catch.
I like
That's
it. It hurts.
Straight up athleticism right there.
I have some internal pain watching that.
Oh.
Yeah, that reaction is how I feel. But go ahead and get it.
All right. Hey, Matt Chapman, nice offensive series there.
Hot. Luis Matos. Yeah. Let's go on to the second half of the show. And usually that kicks off with standout performances.
It's time for Standout Performances.
Standout Performances.
Standout Performances.
This guy stood out for Trev.
Say what?
Standout Performances is brought to you by Skims. Let's talk about comfort where it matters most. Your underwear. This Skims, you've probably heard of them, a company launched by one of Trev's neighbors and a dear friend, revolutionizing shapewear, men's underwear that can change your daily routine. They've got 3 distinct fabric blends, cotton blend, lasting comfort every day, or the stretch that gives you that perfect fit however you move. Sport fabric, that's usually where I lean. Sporty guy. First AOL name was Sports Jake. Shop Skims, the official underwear partner of the NBA, WNBA, USA Basketball at skims.com. Let them know we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu. Skims. Trev, where are you going?
I'm going with my guy, Stephen Kwan, and I can't believe we didn't really get into this series. It was the return of the king. I had that written down. Yeah. Scott Kingery for the Angels.
Oh, I thought you were saying Mike Trout.
No, yeah. Scott Kingery, bro. What are you talking about? I'm going Stephen Kwan. On Saturday, he goes 3 for 5, double, a homer, drives in a run, steals a base. And my takeaway here, and the reason I gave him this award is an 807 OPS on the year, 129 OPS plus. He's already racked up 2.6 B-WAR. Where would the Guardians be without Stephen Kwan? Look, obviously Jose Ramirez is the guy there, but right now, if you're talking about any sort of semblance of an OPS, Carlos Santana, by the way, has been banging the ball lately. He's got his OPS up to 772.
Yeah.
The only 2 people with OPS is over 800 are Stephen Kwan and Jose Ramirez. So he obviously has been a massive factor. 18 walks to 22 strikeouts on the year, Jake. And I just don't understand Cleveland at all. They're in a playoff spot. They're in second place in the Central. I'm just going to give you some stats. 24th in average, 21st in OPS, 21st in runs. Okay. 19th in stolen bases. Their pitching staff, starting pitchers, 22nd in ERA, 30th in walks per 9, 26th in whip. Okay. The relief pitchers, 20th in whip, 16th in ERA, 22nd in hits per 9. Somehow they have a 32-26 record, and they are in a playoff spot. That is Cleveland Guards baseball. They find ways to win. I don't understand it. Obviously, Stephen Kwan's a big part of it.
Just love his game. I wish more guys could play that way, but not a lot of guys can because you have to be incredible with the bat.
How are the Guardians winning games, Jake, all the time?
This is just what they do. It feels like they're playing a different sport or something, and we don't know the rules to it. One guy does something in every game. Well, it's Jose Ramirez and Kwan, and then it's like Manzardo or Schneemann or someone like
it was Gabriel Arias this series.
His hair was flowing. It's a good one, Trev. It's anytime there's Stephen Kwan, I like that. Hey, Trev, I went past Cubs, Reds quickly because I didn't want to talk about Pete Crow Armstrong and how he's been one of the best players in baseball and who is Michael Busch and Nico Horner's underrated, and because the Cubs kind of dominated the series. Ian Happ, Kyle Tucker, the whole crew, except one game and where the Reds got back to 500 and then they lost 2 games. Andrew Abbott won his 3rd straight start, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk. I like a guy that doesn't have to light up the radar gun. This is true. Andrew Abbott sits like 91. It's got the pitch mix going on. And Trev, have a 0.55 ERA over 6 starts in May. That's the lowest amongst all qualified starters. So all the guys that you're freaking out about and are in the Cy Young race and all that stuff. Andrew Abbott, there's been 2 months of this season. For 1 month, Andrew Abbott was the best pitcher at allowing earned runs. And that 0.55 ERA is the 3rd lowest ERA in a calendar month by any Reds pitcher since 1912. John Franco, have him as a historic reliever in my mind, 0.3 in August of 85. And then your boy, Dolph Lukey. That's right, Dolph Lukey in June of 23. 1923. You gotta
That's why you
specify
sent that to our chat. Okay.
And by the way, if you could show the picture, Rob. Yep, there's 5'7" Dolph Lukey, who, by the way, had a hell of a career. A Cuban ball player, Trev, who was over in Cincinnati in 1918. What was that life like? I don't know. I feel like it had to be different than mine. Although yet 5'7", 160. Maybe we aren't that different. Dolph Lukey, a.k.a.
I would have taken Dolph Lukey so far up top.
The pride of Havana. I think he mows your ass down. I'm going to be honest with you.
Chance.
I normally level out with you if I'm like, yeah, you've got that guy. I think Lukey has you in a spin cycle.
I hit a homer, then I charged the mound on him.
I think his spitball is untouchable.
I love Cuban ball players, though.
I know you do, and I couldn't believe 48.2 career WAR, 3,000 plus innings for Dolph Lukey. Hey, Andrew Abbott, I hope he's the next Dolph Lukey. He's been great, and it's part of the Reds' frustration that you hear in us almost every episode now. So
Andrew Abbott, I was watching that start, and the arm action on all his pitches is so good, and it just keeps guys. The timing is off, and he's able to manipulate, the speed on each of his pitches, and he's what you want out of a lefty, dude.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
I love it. And he's been a stud, obviously.
Yeah, his baseball savant. You know what, dude? This is so dumb because he's got a lot of red on there. I like when you say blood red on a baseball savant. That does something for me. Like his blue things are fastball velo, which, okay, if it doesn't matter, like that blue shouldn't even be on the screen. And then it's ground ball percentage. He's a fly ball pitcher. So the 2 things that are like blue don't matter for what he's doing. Like I don't know. I'm going to have to workshop that because his page should look more red than it is. Reds. Okay. Trev, there was a ton of options because, like I mentioned, the Dodgers just pumped the Yanks around the yard for 2 days, along with everyone else in baseball who had a big weekend. Your guy, Sam Haggerty. There's got to be some good in Fuegos, no?
Dirt nasties on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
There's a lot of guys on this list right now. For the series, we talked a little bit about Ernie Clement, but he went 11 for 18. 4 doubles, 2 homers, 6 runs driven in.
Ernie.
Talked about the impending return of Andres Jimenez will probably push Ernie Clement over to third base. Doesn't matter. He's going to rake. Junior Caminero coming on for the Rays. Big part of why they're playing great. 7 for 17. 3 doubles, 3 homers on Saturday, Jake. He became the first player in Rays history, that vaunted Rays history, with 4 extra base hits and 5 runs driven in the same game. And then also on that Saturday, that was the first time he's had a multi-homer game in his career. So shout out Junior Caminero. Marcus Semien, the long-awaited breakout. 7 for 8 in the series. A double, a homer, 3 runs driven in. He raised his batting average from 173 to 201. It's the highest it's been since opening day. Obviously, they need him to get going. The whole Rangers offense in its entirety needs to get going. Simeon would be a welcome sign for them. Max Muncy, same thing. He struggled early on in the season with the Dodgers, but he's been raking as of late in the series. 5 for 10, 3 homers, 8 runs driven in. Those homers were his 200th and 201st homers in his career, and he had 7 runs driven in on Saturday. My goodness. Mike Tauchman went 6 for 12. Shout out Mike Tauchman, still doing it. Okay. 6 for 12, 2 doubles, a triple, a homer, 2 runs driven in the series for the White Sox. Shout out the White Sox. For the week, Josh Bell, we mentioned the Nats and some of their offense going. Josh Bell's a part of that. 9 for 23, 3 homers, 7 runs driven in the series. This guy's been great all season long. Andy Pages, another Cuban ball player. He went 9 for 24 in the season or in the series. A double, 2 homers, 8 runs driven in. Now, Pages has been great all season in situational hitting. He's slugging .432 with 2 strikes this season. That's the 3rd best in the National League. And he's batting .392 with runners in scoring position this season. That's 4th best in all of baseball. That's an area you just want to be good at. Hit with runners in scoring position. That's all you need. Jeremy Pena, he's been lights out this season. Oh, is he a star? I don't know. Don't call him a star. He only puts up 3.5 to 4 WAR every year. You guys don't even know what a star is. Sorry.
It's okay.
Superstar, star. Okay, guys?
Okay.
Jeremy Pena's a star in my book. 10 for 23 for the week, a double, 3 homers, 5 runs driven in. Cal Raleigh, dude, you could talk all day about this dude. For the week, 8 for 23, Jake, 8 hits, cool. 6 homers.
Silly.
10 runs driven. He reminds you right now, like the swing and just the dangerous nature of his at-bats, Prince Fielder, like prime Prince Fielder.
Oh, okay. If I had to shoot a guess, I was going to say Jim Thome.
I think it's more Prince Fielder.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Big like Jim. I don't know.
You just put me on the spot there, and I know how much you love Jim Thome.
First catcher in Major League history to reach at least 20 homers before the end of May. We talked about that. He actually finished with 22 of them things in May. How about the pitchers who shoved? And the Blue Jays needed this one. Jose Barrios on Thursday, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 9 Ks. He's allowed 3-ball counts to just 10% of right-handed hitters he's faced this season, Jake. That's the lowest in Major League Baseball. If you can avoid the 3-ball counts, that's great. Yeah. Good job. All the Orioles pitchers threw really well in the series against the White Sox. But Eflin, we're going to talk about Morton too. Eflin in particular, 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. It's the first time an Orioles pitcher threw 7 shutout innings since Dean Kremer on May 2nd. Jose Soriano of the Angels did it for the game that they won in their series, 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. He leads qualified Major League pitchers with a 66% ground ball rate. Zach Littell, we talked about the pitches he threw. He gets the complete game in that shellacking of the Astros. 9 innings pitched. He gives up 10 hits, but only 1 walk, strikes out 6. It's the first complete game since Ryan Yarbrough, your Ryan Yarbrough, on June 3rd of 2021. So that was 647 games between complete games. Charlie Morton, your guy, the Salt Man, he did it. 6 2/3 innings pitched, 0 earned runs for him. He became the oldest pitcher in Orioles history to have a start without allowing an earned run. How old is he? 43?
41. 41.
That's not even that old. I'm almost there, Charlie Morton. Don't make me feel old.
Are you turning 40 this year?
I'm turning 39 in 13 days.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me about it.
You and me have been on edge either anyways if we had to do that. We'll get there next year. 39 so fine. Trev, that was beautiful, man. And yeah, I was debating if we should have an Orioles conversation, but what they've done, it's not time.
You've done this to yourselves.
Not time. Your guy Barrios, love that for him. All right. These are the guys we're trying to spark. And it's worked a couple times. Okay. I think George Springer was on this. He had a weekend. You got a new one for this, Bob, right?
Hey, man, you've been struggling lately. It's time to pick it up!
Royce Lewis, Trev. I didn't know it was like this.
It goes back into last year as well.
1 for 32. Man, it was one of those. It doesn't matter. When he said he doesn't slump, that I think every baseball person was like, son, you got something coming your way. I know he's one of the nicest guys in the world. You told us the Twins facility told him to stop saying thank you so much. So no one roots against that guy, but you say those words and it's dangerous territory. I guess you mentioned it before. Is there anything else we can do for Royce?
He's got the leg situation for me.
Okay.
He's not grounded right now, and he's had knee problems, like he's had leg problems.
Right.
So I don't know if he's at 100% strength with them right now. But that to me, it looks like the problem. The foundation isn't there.
Well, and you know why? Again, I didn't want that to come off as Royce. What are you saying, dude? It's just everyone slumps ever. Fernando Tatis Jr. is 6 for 48. 6 for 48, a 114 batting average.
He's also struggling with his lower half and figuring out timing mechanisms and all this. These guys, they got to get grounded, Pop.
Grounded. So everyone wants to get that extra power from the leg kick. That makes it, your head starts moving. I'm a hitter. C.J. Abrams. I think I was just starting to hype him up. He's put together a 6 for 42 the past couple weeks. Batting 100. That's bad. Not 100 in a good way. .100. Pitches in the strike zone. So pitchers are going to come at you if that's happening. Matt McClain, a 6 for 41. That's tough. The injuries and what he had done previously, struggling with the velo right now. And Hunter Goodman, the catcher from our Rockies, kind of one of the bright spots for a little bit. He's in a 7 for 47. So, hey, if you're on that list, that means we're trying to get you off that list. And this is just the lowest part of the show. It's just being honest with the people, because now we jump to the IL, because this is important. You got to know who's on the field. And it's a thickums this week. Lucas Urseg for the Royals. He's been really good. They're hoping 2 to 3 weeks with a lower back. Stuart Fairchild and Austin Hayes. I like the way they play. Jackson Jobe. Little elbow stuff for Detroit. Let's see what happens there. Cedric Mullins with a right hammy for the Orioles, 11th player on the O's IL. Anthony Santander, left shoulder stuff. He's kind of been going through it most of this year. Lane Thomas, Chas McCormick, oblique for Houston. Ryan Mountcastle. Nathan Eovaldi for Texas, right tricep tightness. Expected to be the minimum, so let's knock on some wood there. You mentioned Dalton Varsho earlier in the show. Jordan Walker. There's a lot of relievers. Liam Hendricks. This is deep. Luckily, we do have some dudes coming back. And how about a couple Minnesota Twins? You mentioned the Minnesota Moose, Matt Wallner, thrown out at home. We didn't love the send. Byron Buxton, back for your Twins as well. Seth Lugo for Kansas City is in the building. David Fry, remember? That's how Cleveland wins games, Trev. And Jose Quintana, who had another good start, and just a reminder, literally every team could have had them. Every team needs starting pitching. I think the Brewers technically got him 1 year for 4.25 just at the end. And all he does is pitch good every year. So I don't know. That's where I wish our analytics department was a little more involved. And the young prince, Tyro Estrada for Colorado. Where's he playing after the trade deadline? That's who's back from the IL. Let's start the week the right way.
Awards!
I am going with the hold the door
Whoa!
award. Now, this is up your alley. I know you're a GOT type guy.
I am.
Hodor is one of, the most loved characters on the show. And there's kind of some weird stuff going on there. We see him as this guy who obviously has a mental condition, and he keeps saying, hold the door, hold door, hold door. That's why they call him that.
Right.
He meets his unfortunate end doing that, holding the door to protect Bran.
Spoiler.
It gets revealed in the show that Bran...
Spoiler alert. Yeah, just want to get in front of that.
Come on. If you haven't watched Game of Thrones now.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, spoiler alert. I should have said
kidding.
That. Maybe
I'm kidding,
Rob will
Trev.
add that in post.
I'm
I
kidding.
don't know. It gets revealed in the show that it's actually Bran is responsible for him becoming that way. He goes back in time, enters Hodor's brain when he's a young kid and tells him to hold the door. And then he just gets that in his mind and can't ever escape. And it's just kind of a bad look for Bran all the way around. Yeah. Do people even like the character Bran? No. I didn't.
No.
Okay. So, but Hodor's one of the, most likable characters in the show, sacrifices himself for the greater good, protects Bran and the crew. One guy who's not holding the door, he's barging through it.
Oh,
Jake.
Wow.
Is Addison Barger up there in Toronto? Now, we mentioned they've been playing better ball as of late. They get the 4-game sweep of the A's to put them over 500, and hopefully they'll stay there for good. I want to see this Blue Jays team do well. They extend Vladdy. They got to figure out what they're going to do with Bo Bichette. But if you want to be a good team, you have to have guys step up for you. You can't just have your superstars doing superstar things. You have to have supplemental pieces on the roster, and it looks like they found one. Ernie Clement, you're doing your thing as well. But Addison Barger, there's a lot of talk about this guy up here. And if you go on his Savant page, it's for good reason. This guy is absolutely raking. 92nd percentile in expected WOBA, 94th percentile in expected batting average. He's hitting 267, but he's hitting the ball so well. His expected batting average is 306. The average exit velocity, Jake, 95.1. That's the 99th percentile. Yeah. He's built like a linebacker, 6'2", He's playing great defense at third base right now. Like I mentioned, he might have to go out to right field, but he's doing it all, Jake. So you're getting an Ernie Clement, you're getting an Addison Barger. You add that to what the Jays already have there. George Springer having kind of a resurgent season. I know he just struggled a little bit, but he got out of it. And Vladdy doing his thing. Like there's a chance here now that we are seeing, I guess not technically like a new core, but a bigger core. And if Clement and Barger are there together, I mean, it just kind of changes, I think, the trajectory of the Blue Jays franchise. You can't have it just be Vladdy. Like we have to have guys step up and young guys who are making the league minimum. This all helps. Him becoming a guy and Ernie Clement doing his thing. I said that just changes kind of everything. So we have been waiting. Someone's been holding the door for us. We've been waiting for the Blue Jays to figure something out. Maybe they just needed to barge right on through. Because we could see them end up being a playoff team if these things all come in together, Jake. Addison Barger is a huge part of it. If you haven't watched him, go check him out. It's a fun watch.
Well done, Trev. Win 5, W5 for the Blue Jays. They are, if the season ended today, it's June 2nd. They're a half game out of the wild card. Like the AL wild card is wide open. I was going through Toronto stats before the episode, and it's interesting because it's not someone's going nuts. Like Vladdy's kicking into gear, but he hasn't gone nuts yet. But it's looking like, again, and this has been a big Brewers episode where Brewers, Guardians, it's like contributions. Like everyone contributes. They kind of have that. Like Kirk contributes, Vladdy, Jimenez is coming back, Bo, Barger, Miles Straw, Springer, Clement, Nathan Lucas, Varsho. Like I just named 11 guys. Like you're getting a lot of help. Santander has been a little bit of a black hole for them, and he goes to the IL. So it's one of those. They have a lot of dudes contributing, and when that works, and again, I hope it's not just an athletic series because they've really been in it. This Blue Jays recipe should work better than it has, and maybe this is the start.
Yeah, I mean, the bullpen's been really good. I think they have like kind of reliable starting pitching as well. Like we could see this turn into something. There's a formula here for the Blue Jays. And sometimes it's as easy as just having some of the young guys overperform or become stars.
Hodor, hey, fantastic. I know I already said this, but well done, Trev. And I just caught my left arm popping a little bit on the YouTube. And okay, Jakey, I see you, little guy. I'm a Game of Thrones guy. I think it's the number one show ever. I know the ending stinks.
Stinks.
I rewatched it. I rewatched it, and it's true. Like the generic statement, if you rewatch it, the ending doesn't feel as bad. It's true because you weren't caught up in like the cycle of every week, the final season.
Spoiler alert: the dragon.
Boy.
Spoiler alert: the dragon flaming the throne is ridiculous.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And who ends up on that throne? Spoiler. They got mocked a little bit earlier in this.
One of the worst characters?
Hodor, in that scene, in that moment, I think elevates Game of Thrones above everything else. That is, I mean, how long is, that's a 5-season nothing that turns into just a, like, that's one of those George Lucas was, who was that pitcher from the Reds I was talking about?
Why are you talking about George Lucas?
George R. R. Martin.
George R. R. Martin. Oh,
Thank you.
sorry about my kind of scary geeks. I'll give mine award, and it's brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook. Make sure you guys go to DraftKings. Use code JMBaseball. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll score $300 in bonus bets from walk-off homers to no-hitters in the making. You don't want to miss a pitch. Get in on the action. DraftKings has it all. Everything. Pitch speed. I've been getting in on that a little bit lately. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code JMBaseball. Bet just $5 on any wager and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's promo code JMBaseball only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Was George R. R. Martin the Dolph Luque of his time? Actually, a guy who might be the Dolph Luque.
The books aren't even finished. What are we doing?
What's he doing? What's a day in his life like?
I don't know.
Trev, I'm giving out the Clockwork Award. We've been at this for a few years now, talking baseball. 2019, something like that. And there's some things that have just been clockwork, and it's every year. And I give this part of the speech where I'm like, do we talk about Ohtani enough? Do we talk about Judge enough? Like Jose Ramirez. Now, like, again, there's a lot of those guys that we do. Like we cover the game, we love the game, and it's hard to give guys love every day, but the studs end up there. This guy is kind of your Sonny Gray ace adjacent. Like you wouldn't list him as one of the top aces of base. I don't know. I guess maybe you'll counter me.
Okay.
Because every year he does the same thing, and he's there for the postseason, and he has some bold on his pages, and a lot of them are complete games or shutouts. This year, he's leading baseball with 2 complete games. It's going to Framber Valdez, and he has just been a favorite of this show ever since you laid eyes on him. Kind of that thick body. He just toys with hitters, man. You talked about what you want from a lefty. Framber just toys with hitters. He gets better as the game goes on. If there's a big game, I think last postseason he ran out of steam just a little bit. Wearing clearly fake hair, the undersized glove and the thick body.
Wait, he's got fake hair?
I think he openly talks about it. He changes it for like whatever he wants to do. And since 2020, man, this guy has been automatic. He's a 3.12 ERA. In each year, like the biggest variance, his lowest is 2.91 last season. His highest was a 3.45. So, like, how good this guy is year in, year out. And yeah, it depends, like an ace conversation. He's never finished higher than 5th in the Cy Young, which, again, what standard are we holding him to? But he's been a staple of this Houston Astros team that is in it year in, year out. We haven't talked about them a ton. Somehow they're a half game behind the Mariners, which we talk about every episode. And it's just time to talk about Framber and the stability that he brings to that team and being one of the best pitchers in baseball and an upcoming free agency if you want to start dreaming about your team's offseason. So it's Framber time for me.
7th in F WAR since the 2020 season. The guys in front of him are actually kind of shocking. Zach Wheeler, not shocking. Corbin Burnes, not shocking. Kevin Gossman, 3rd overall in that time. That is a little shocking to me. Logan Webb, Aaron Nola, Dylan Cease, Framber Valdez. He's in front of guys like Max Fried, Garrett Cole, Luis Castillo, Pablo Lopez, who's been absolutely filthy since 2023. Scooble. These are guys, some of them haven't pitched a lot since 2020, but, top 7 pitcher, starting pitcher in baseball. I give an ace.
Yeah,
he's an ace.
Yeah, if you think if it's top 30 pitchers in baseball, if every team should have an ace, it's easy.
I don't think every team has an ace. I have even said that about my
Right.
Twins. I don't know if there's an ace there.
Right.
And maybe they're going to change my mind because I do think there is, it's not just you're the best pitcher on your team that doesn't make you an ace. Like an ace is someone that you think you put them in a playoff game and they're going to dominate. Like Framber's that guy.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's got a little bit of that to him. I guess it's just if we were having like a who's the best pitcher in baseball argument, by the time you start getting to Framber, you're like, well, he's not Scooble. Like, and very few players ever get to where Scooble is at right now.
Wheeler. Okay. I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, and hey, at the same time, okay, if he doesn't have that Scooble insane mode, he has the regularity that he does it every year that should be valued. Like, in a way, that is an ace. Like, I would take that argument that there's no year on his baseball card that you're like, oh, yeah, Framber just didn't have it that year. He had a 4.3. Like, no.
Who'd you compare him to early? You said Framber Valdez.
I said
Sonny Gray.
I threw out a Sonny Gray, and then I went back to Dolph Luque.
Sonny Gray is 8th in F4, right behind Framber Valdez. Attaboy, Pop. That's why you're the best in the biz.
Come on. Spit on me.
End the show, Baba, with putting me throwing the football with Joe Ryan and hit the freaking music, okay?
God. I love that you wear your glove in the booth. I love it.
I bring it everywhere. Even when I'm like going around the clubhouse, I have my glove.
Yeah, I mean, that starts getting us slightly closer to serial killer, but it's...
Dude, I play when they're doing infield drills, I'll catch for him on the side. I'm not going to apologize for loving playing catch, bro. Sorry.
Don't apologize. Don't. I hate playing catch with you. You always test me first throw. Let me get warm. I don't play catch regularly.